Yo guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm back with another Psgl league race. Today is round number 3 at Austria in F3, and this was my quali lap. I decided to qualify on a super soft tyre because I wanted to get as close to 11th place as possible, much like I did in Bahrain. My goal throughout this qualification was basically just to qualify as high up as possible on the super soft tyre, or just end up being 11th if I dropped below that. But I didn't want to start on the ultra soft tyre because my goal was to do a one stop super softs and then softs, which I found was the quickest strategy, so I sacrificed my qualifying position for a better strategy. But overall it was a fairly decent lap. Quite a few people put a lap on the ultra soft tyre, but it turns out at the end of it I was actually the fastest of the super soft runners. Coming up to the line of DRS open, and we cross the line and we go P4, and at the end of qualifying we actually drop to 11th position, the fastest on the super soft tyre. So I couldn't ask much more from that qualifying session. Starting on fresh super, well, we're going to start on fresh super softs for the race. And yeah, that's qualifying done. Let's jump straight into the race. So here we go. We have 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's lights out and away we go. An initial getaway is looking fairly decent. Looks like we're going to pull alongside Mercedes on the right. Hopefully we can go around its outside into turn 1. It's a very tight turn 1, and luckily there weren't really any incidents. The car behind me has to run off the track because, I don't know, I think it just broke too late. But we make up a position into P10 out of turn 1, heading down to turn 2 now. One of the tightest, or if not the tightest corners on the track. You can see quite a few cars getting bunched up. We can't get any positions from that, but somehow from behind us, AMS just gets a fantastic run out of turn 2, and he retakes 10th place. We move back down to 11th. But early on in this race, it didn't look like there was much of a difference between the super soft runners and the ultra soft runners, and Carworld, as you can see, very happy that he got a pole position in his league race. But yeah, it looked like the super soft runners could stay onto the back of the ultra soft runners, especially thanks to DRS and slipstream. So that was a plus. If we could just keep up this pace and just stay on the back of them, we could definitely get them on the pit stops. Obviously most of them are on 2-stop, as I think that was Rossi going for a little spin, and Ash Bess in the Sauber also going for a spin. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what happened to them in, well, that moment there. But on to lap number 2, coming into sector 3, you can see AMS has pulled a slight gap and he's actually in the slipstream of the cars ahead. We have fallen back ever so slightly as we're trying to save tyres. But I think that was Fragglepool coming into the pit, and that's going to promote us to P7, P8? Promote us to P8. And looks like AMS seems to really be struggling through the final sector. I'm pretty sure he's running a lot more downforce. I think I was running the lowest downforce throughout this race. But on to the next lap in sector 3 once again. I think this is the stage where people were starting to struggle somehow. AMS, I think, almost hit the back of Ashley ahead of him and has to take avoid action. We take the advantage, have to cut the final corner to get to overtake him, but we get past him. He tries to get back at us down the straight. We cover him off up into 7th place for us. Now hopefully we can chase down Courtois and Ashley. We're starting to struggle on the ultra soft tyres at this stage. I think they are pitting fairly soon. As we head down to turn 2, you can see the ultra soft runner is just going incredibly slowly, and they seem to really be struggling with turn 2. I don't know if they were just offline coming into the corner, but they were just really struggling throughout the entirety of this race. We're coming on to lap number 4, we've got AMS right behind us, who seems to be a lot quicker than us, and we only got past him thanks to that mistake. But Courtois and we come into the pit, and that's going to promote us to P6, P5? It's going to promote us to P5. So we are leading out of the ones who are on fresh tyres. So we're in a very good position. Ashley having to cut turn 1, which I'm not entirely sure how. We're right into the back of him as we head down towards turn 2. Dougie just ahead, who seems to really be struggling. I feel like he should have pit a lap early. We're going to try and make it 3 wide, but I realise that was a bad move as we head down to turn 2. And I'm not really sure what happened here. I hit the back of Ashley, and AMS catches the back of me. We go to the right hand side, and you're going to see what happens. We get tagged by RDO in the McLaren. I'm just going to say this. This was puncher number 1 of the race. I honestly don't know how I got hit there. AMS tagged me on the exit of turn 2, and obviously pushed me to the right, but I just stayed to the right, obviously not going to rejoin onto the track. I haven't seen the footage from RDO's point of view, but it looks like he just swiped me or just bumped me out the way. We come into the pit and we are last position, which I'm not going to lie, I was incredibly annoyed about, and I didn't really know what I was going to do strategy wise from here on out. I decided to pit the soft tyre just to like go as many laps as I could, and then hopefully put the super softs on at the end. But obviously now I'm on a 2-stop. I was able to push a bit more and just get a bit more out of the car, so I don't know. I didn't know what I was expecting. I wasn't going to give up at this stage anyway. But yeah, this is a very boring part of the race for me. Lap number 7, someone comes into the pit and that promotes us to P15, and we don't actually overtake anyone on track at all. I think it was Dougie that comes into the pit complaining about the lag. On the next lap is going to be another pit stop overtake, and it is Rakarov, I think. Retiring from the session, I think he's had enough. I think he was suffering from lag quite a bit as well. But yeah, as you can see, this is just an incredibly boring part of the race for me. Just doing lap after lap on the soft tyre. I mean, it wasn't fun. I wasn't going to give up. I wanted to. I mean, I knew if people were retiring like they were or just crashed, I could get back into the points. There were only 15 runners left, so I wasn't going to give up. But on to lap 21. That just proves how little action was in this Grand Prix. But just ahead of us, Ash Best is coming out of the pit on super soft tyres. And I moved to the right trying to get in a slipstream, but because people have been leaving the session, we had a slipstream glitch. Along with, as you can see, tyre wear, and he was on fresh super soft tyres. And coming out of turn 2, you'll be able to see just the difference the tyre wear makes. And he is absolutely gone already. We have DRS, but it's just not going to help us at all. So that was quite depressing to witness, but we remain in P14 and coming on to lap number 23 now. We're going to make up another position as Rossi comes into the pit for his second stop, I believe. So that promotes us to P13. And on the next lap, we are going to take another position and Mr. Stim pits. I'm pretty sure he's trying to do a 1-stop. So that promotes us to P12, and you can see Milan Pop coming out the pit as well. On the super soft tyres, once again, it looks like it's going to be similar to what happened with Ash Best. But he doesn't get as good a run down the straight. We're going to try on the outside turn 2. Which with the worn tyres is very optimistic, you can see. We didn't miss our braking point. It was literally just because of the tyre wear. And, well, we remain in 12th place. And I wanted to try and stretch my tyres to at least an extra 2 laps. Just so I could be sure that my super softs could make it to the end. However, on lap number 25, coming through sector 2, it's puncher number 2 of the race. Despite the fact my tyres weren't even 80%, it is yet another tyre blowout for the Renault. And that is pretty much all the work that we've been working towards throughout these laps. Just absolutely gone, and we lose the back end coming into the pit, and that is puncher number 3 and a broken end plate as we come into the pit. And I didn't actually realise this while I was driving, because I was just incredibly annoyed and very, very close to quitting the race. But if you noticed, they didn't change my front wing, which I didn't notice at all. I think I paused it coming out of the pit because I was really, I paused it, seriously considering quitting at this stage because I had absolutely nothing to gain. But I decided against it. I decided I wanted to finish. I didn't want to just end a league race. I don't want to be that person. We're going to try for fastest lap on the super soft tyres and at least not come last. And I think that was Rossi retiring in the pit, so we're now up to 14th place, but still technically last place. We've got Dougie just ahead of us, and I was hoping for quite a nice fight between us. Obviously, I knew he was struggling with lag, and I didn't know at this stage if he was still struggling with lag. It didn't look like it was too bad, but I was hoping for a nice battle between us, as we both had nothing to gain really. But you can see in the top right, we actually get promoted to P13 as Mr. Sim comes into the pit. And now we're trying to go around the outside at Dougie. Round turn 2, but he's better on the braking. Trying to get the better run, and we'll have the DRS and the slipstream. Can we take him down towards turn 3? It looks like we're going to go to the outside. He doesn't really put up much of a fight. And we go around his outside. through turn number 3, and we're now in 12th place, so it looks like we're not going to get last unless we have another tyre blowout, which given my luck this race, I wouldn't cancel out not having a puncture on the final lap. We've got yellow flags ahead as Psgl retires from the session. That promotes us to P11, so we haven't actually lost any positions from our starting position. And with just 2 laps to go, one more retirement was all we needed, but it didn't come about. Round the final corner on the final lap, and we're going to finish in P11. Which, looking back on it, I wasn't overly frustrated. I mean, I see it as a good recovery drive, being very much last place at the end of lap 6 or lap 5, I think. But nevertheless, a very frustrating race for myself. My first actual finish out of the points and not on the podium, so that is a streak unfortunately gone. But it's Courtois that takes the win, with Yunomi in second and Ashley in third. So congratulations to them, but that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, remember to smash like button and subscribe if you're new around here. And that is exactly what I thought of that race. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see ya!